Hi everyone, in this video we are going to be implementing wall running in our game. This tutorial is a part of the FPS tutorial series. So if this is the first video you are watching in the playlist, then I would recommend you to watch part 1 and part 6 for setting up player controller for wall running. And if you want, you can check out the project files of the playlist on the following GitHub link. Otherwise, if you just want the basic player controller without any weapon manager and additional stuff, then you can download the FPS controller from this repository instead. I would also like to mention that the following video from Garbage helped me a lot in getting started with wall running, though my approach in this video is going to be quite different. So before implementing wall running, let's have a higher level view of how we are going to do it. Here you can see our player with pistol showing the camera's direction. In our game we are going to perform wall run when we hit spacebar to jump and then hold shift to sprint while next to a wall. So we need to keep holding the shift key in order to continue wall running. Here our player has wall running already implemented. So I'm going to walk through the process of wall running by using pseudocode before we go to the actual implementation. First of all, we need to check whether we are allowed to wall run or not. So we use a boolean can wall run for it. We first check whether our player is in the air or not. But that alone isn't sufficient, because if we jump too close to a wall, the player would start wall running at a very low height, as we can see. To fix this, we would wait for a few seconds, or more specifically milliseconds, to satisfy the condition of starting a wall run. So if both of these conditions are true, we set can wall run to true. Now once we are allowed to wall run, we need to check whether we are next to a wall or not. And after that, check whether we are holding shift and W. Once all these conditions are met, we get the collision point of the wall we collided with. You can see it as a red dot on the left side of the screen. We then have to get normal of the wall. Here the red arrow represents the normal vector. To understand what exactly a normal is, we need to first understand how 3D objects work in computer graphics. So here we have a basic cube. A cube consists of total 6 faces. In computer graphics, 2 triangles form a face. Each face has a vector that is perpendicular to it. We call this vector a normal. Remember, a normal points only on one side of the face. So when we get normal of a face in our game, we should be assured that we are getting the right direction. And the cool thing about normals is that we can use it on any kind of 3D object, no matter how complex it is. So back to our example. To find the direction we want to move while against the wall, we perform a cross product between a vector pointing upwards and the normal vector. The blue arrow, which is our wall run direction, will be correct in this particular instance, but it would be incorrect if we had to move the other way around. To fix this, we get the camera's direction, that is the red arrow, and perform dot product between camera's direction and the wall run direction. So if dot product comes less than 0, meaning the angle between red and blue arrows is greater than 90 degrees, then that means we need to be moving the opposite direction against the wall. So in this case, we invert the wall run direction. To finish up, we need to add a bit of force towards the wall and make sure to use a smaller value like 0.01, otherwise the player would slide up the walls that are slightly rotated. Then we disable gravity. Here make sure to use a non-zero value, otherwise our kinematic body is going to slide down the wall. And finally set movement direction to the wall run direction. I have created a new scene for the purpose of wall running. You can create one yourself or download it from the link provided in the description. One thing to note here is that when creating walls on which we want to wall run, make sure you use something like a CSD mesh or your own 3D model created with Blender or any other software. And that's because if you try to create a wall with a basic cube in Godot, then that would require us to scale it up, and this would directly affect its child collider. Even though the scale of colliders aren't affected locally, but for some reason with this approach, wall running does not work properly. Now let's start with implementing wall running. First, go to the player scene and create a spatial node and name it wall run. This node, like others, is going to be used for camera rotation. That's why we are going to make it a parent of the head bob and the weapons node. Now in player script, add a reference to the wall run node we created. And don't forget to set node path from the inspector. Now I'm going to do a few changes to the player script. First of all, I'm going to rename process jump to process vertical movement. Now this is completely optional to do, but since I'm going to be adding a part of wall running code to the jumping function, in my opinion, it would be a better idea to name process jump to something more generic. Let's start now with defining variables for wall running. We will start with can wall run and its related variables. As described in the starting of this video, can wall run will be used as a condition to check whether we are allowed to wall run or not. So when we are on ground, we set can wall run to false and wall run delay to its default value, meaning resetting the delay time. Otherwise, if we are not touching the ground, we will start a countdown by reducing wall run delay towards 0. And once it reaches 0, we set can wall run to true. Now let's create a function that will be responsible for processing wall run. Here we first check whether can wall run is set to true. Then check if we are against the wall or not. After this we also check whether we are holding the forward and sprint button as well. Now before we proceed ahead, let's print a message to check if everything so far works fine or not. Also don't forget to call this function in physics process. Okay, it seems like I wrote jump instead of sprint. And that's it. Now let's run the game and see how it works. As you can see, when I run against the wall, we get the message wall running in the console. Now let's define a boolean that would tell us whether we are currently wall running or not. Back to the process wall run method, we will start writing the logic which we saw at the beginning of this video. We first get the collision data, then get normal vector out of that, calculate the wall run direction, apply a little push towards the wall, enable is wall running to true. Disable gravity. And finally set the input direction to the wall run direction. Otherwise, if the above condition is not satisfied, we set is wall running to false. We also need to set it false when we are on the ground. And here we go, we are able to run on the wall. If we try to look around while wall running, it works as expected. But when we look off the wall, you see we are still wall running. Though in most games, we would simply fall off the wall if we look too far away from it. To solve this, we will have to calculate the angle between the direction we are looking and the wall run direction we calculated. We project both vectors on a 2D plane, and this could be done by simply setting y-axis of both to 0. Now we need to correct the value of angle so that it comes up in positive when we are looking away from the wall. Finally, we disable wall running if we look away from the wall by more than 85 degrees. You can choose any value you feel like. Now if we test wall running once again, we see that when we look away from the wall by more than 85 degrees, we automatically fall down to the ground. Now let's fix the weird jitter which we were getting when looking into the wall while wall running. The reason this was happening was due to my mistake. Ironically, in the video I made before this one, which was about fixing bugs, in that I introduced another bug while fixing a few things. So let's quickly resolve that. I had removed velocity in the following line, which was okay. But then I was using the same velocity variable to apply movement effects. To fix this, all we need to do is capture the return value of move and slide in a variable other than velocity. So I'm going to name it velocity info, then assign it to the return value of move and slide, and change velocity to velocity info inside the process movement effects function. Here I'm additionally adding a few more conditions that would make the wall running experience a bit more immersive, though this is optional to do. And that's it, it looks much better now. So now let's apply rotation to the camera when wall running. Here wall run angle is the amount of rotation we do on camera, whereas wall run current angle is the current rotation. And side is a string which would help us by telling on what side the wall is with respect to the player. Now let's create a function that would process the camera's rotation while wall running. Before going any further, let us create another function that would return a string telling us on what side the wall is with respect to the player. Here, point parameter is a global position. In our case, it would be the collision point of the player with the wall. So we would convert this global position to player's local position. With the help of this, we can determine on what side the wall is. So we can know whether the wall is towards our left or right or maybe at center. We are going to call this method in just a moment. Now back to process wall run rotation function. We first check whether we are wall running or not. If we perform a simple interpolation of wall run current angle towards the wall run angle we defined. Otherwise, if we are not wall running, we interpolate the value of wall run current angle towards 0. And finally set wall run current angle to wall run node's rotation. Now in physics process, call the method we just defined. And yes, we need to call getSide function inside the process wall run method and assign its return value to the side variable we created. So let's see the result. Here we go, it looks much better now. Now let's add the ability to jump off the wall when wall running. As always, we are going to have a boolean telling whether we are jumping or not. A vector which would tell us the direction to jump. The last 3 variables I just declared will be used to change the power of the jump. It will all make sense shortly. Now inside process vertical movement, we are going to add the wall run jump logic. First of all, we set is wall run jumping to false when we are on ground. Then we write a new condition that would be called when we press spacebar while wall running. So the first thing we need to do is set can wall run and is wall running to false, as we want to completely disable wall running when performing a wall jump. After this, we set current velocity to a 0 vector. Here current velocity is the velocity that we used to smooth out player movement. Otherwise, if we don't do this, we would get a less impactful jump. Finally, we apply the jump force to our velocity. This would allow us to control the strength of vertical velocity, and then set is wall run jumping to true. Now we need to find the direction of jump in the x-axis. For this, we apply a similar process to how we did with vertical velocity. It's just that over here we use player's x-axis instead of jump speed. In the end, we multiply wall jump factor to wall jump direction. So the higher the value of jump factor, more impactful the jump is going to be. In the end, we need to make sure that we are having a proper wall jump. For that, when is wall run jumping is equal to true, we update direction, which is the input direction, to the jump direction. We additionally add wall jump factor to control the strength of the wall jump. And do make sure to return out of the function. And that feels pretty good. But there seems to be just one more thing missing. I think it would be a good idea to add some sort of cooldown when wall running. So that's what we are going to do now. So let's create a new scene for displaying a cooldown bar. I'm going to use a texture progress node for this. So I'm going to save it as stamina bar scene. Now let's create a quick little animation for fading in and fading out this stamina bar. Now create a tween node which will be used for manipulating stamina. I'm going to name it increase. Duplicate it and name the new one decrease. So let's add a script to stamina bar. As the name suggests, these two variables would be used to control the speed of the stamina bar. Now create a function increase. So this function will be called when we want to restore our stamina. So the first thing we do is stop decrease node's ongoing tweens if there are any. Then check if there is any tween already active for increase. If there isn't, we are going to start a new tween. For that, we need to calculate the duration of the tween. For this, we can use the formula used for finding time when we already know speed and distance. Finally, we call interpolate property and set up our tween. And after this, we start the tween process. We do the same exact thing with decrease function, with the only change in distance value. Now add stamina bar inside the HUD node. Inside player script, create two variables for wallrun cooldown. Then create a function for processing player stamina. So when we are wall running and current stamina is greater than 0, we call decrease method for consuming stamina. And yes, when enabling can wall run, we need to make sure that there is no cooldown at the moment. So from where we left off, we add another condition where if we are wall running and stamina is equal to 0, then in that case we disable wall running and enable the cooldown. And finally, when we are not wall running and our stamina is less than 100, we call increase method for regaining stamina. Additionally, if our stamina is greater than 50, we disable the cooldown. And when doing so, we also fade out the stamina bar. Finally, we call the function inside physics process. And yes, one thing I forgot, we need to call the fade in animation the moment we start wall running. Also make sure to set value of stamina bar to 100 and move the fade in animation towards the starting frame. Here we go, the stamina bar is working, and that completes our wall run implementation. So I hope this video helped you, and if you have any questions or feedback, then do tell me in the comment section down below. So then I will see you in the next video.